Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Mom Can You Not? And the girl is in the comments said, I shouldn't say, and I have my mum. I should say, and I have our mum, my wonderful co-host.
Hello.
Mama.
Gumi, 10. Tiripano, guys. Can you imagine 10 episodes?
Yeah,
10 whole episodes. 10 hours of our life.
Yeah, 10 hours.
Doing this.
It's crazy.
And guess what? What is happening today? Today is
What is it?
Today is a birthday extended version.
Yes, it's a birthday edition.
Yes. So today is a birthday edition. So it was Coco's birthday fairly recently. And you know, when you're young, you can just tell people I'm 18, 19, 20, 21. So she just turned 29, guys. Can you imagine? She turned 29.
29. And get into that, those ages.
You know, but you had a whole cake that had a stamp of your age on it. 29, Coco 29.
I want to start lying about my age now.
No, you can say you've got 11 years experience as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, I want to start going back because all my friends are younger than me.
Well, that's a
lot of them, not all of them. A lot of them are younger than me. So I feel like it just matches my aesthetic to be like 20, 24.
But that's a very good problem to have, having younger friends. I mean, I don't have friends my age. I think people my age are boring. And, you know, they slow me down a lot. So I don't play with people my age. I don't even have...
always outside with the girlies.
Yeah, I'm always outside with young people. Recently, I was actually invited by my friends who are... Coco's age, actually. They're between the ages of 27 to 35. So those are my friends. And they actually, when they see me, they don't see a grown woman. They just see their mate.
They see their mate.
They see their mate. And it's not a bad thing to be young at heart. I think I'm always going to hang around younger people. They know the lingo. You know, when I'm around young people, I can say things like go off and they'll understand. So and so
they get it. Yeah. The girls who get it.
So and so was crashing out on the internet, you know. And this one ate. And there are no crumbs left.
Yeah.
If I say that to people my age, guys, most of them are wearing costumes.
What's a costume?
A costume. I'll give you an example of a costume. I hope our editor... now we've rehomed, if you've noticed. Our podcast is doing the rounds, guys. We're in a new studio. We broke up with our last producer. We didn't tell him we've broken up with him. So he's probably going to watch this... video. It will be an official breaking up video. We are breaking up with you. We've moved on. Good luck. We wish you nothing but the best.
Mom, I live here, you know.
So we've moved to a different studio, and I like it here. And I don't know if you watched my last TikTok when I was talking about it. He's the cardigan guy.
You know, he did watch it. He never saw it. So I was here last week with Laurie, and then I was like, Lincoln, did you watch my video? And he hadn't seen it. So then he saw it, and then he was like, I didn't even know that I was checking all the wrong reasons.
Well, you see, I always say things, and I don't like... Coco is saying that I live here, and sometimes I forget that I'm going to see the people here. But it's lovely. Lincoln is so nice, because I've known Lincoln for a very long time, and he knows that sometimes I get excited as soon as I get in front of a mic. But, you know, he's rehomed us in this beautiful, warm studio. It's very warm in here as well. So, yeah. If you ever want to do a podcast or any content shooting, this is the place to come. We'll put the link in our description so that you can all find out where we've rehoused and rehomed to. So moving on swiftly, I was talking about costumes, right? Before I went on a tangent. So my costume is this. It has to be made. If you're younger than me, you would not know this material. There was once upon a time in Zimbabwe, there was this material called moss creep. So it was a special type of material. It was made for costumes, right? You know, even if it was made to measure, for some reason, it would always give you know, the silhouette of something that is very loose fitting. So it never clung to your body.
Okay.
You know, it is very conservative.
It skimmed all the bobs and the bits.
It never did.
No, it's skimmed.
It sort of like ran away from your body. It sort of like, it ran away from your body. And I remember when I first got married, I was only 17. and my mother-in-law bought me a costume. Fam. It wears you. Costumes have got a tendency. Costumes, are any clothes that wear you and become the soul and life of the party. Costumes run away with your whole personality. So you sort of like, when you wear a costume, it goes and meets other costumes. So you're just, the transport to the costume. Yeah. So and also a very good costume has to be accompanied by a hat.
But the original costume body was the queen, like her royal.
But you see, the queen's costumes, Lizzie. Right? The queen's costumes, right, were part of her aesthetic. Yeah. She and her costumes had a conversation before they left the house. Yeah. Costumes under normal circumstances cannot be reined in. They cannot
take
be
all
tamed.
that
They're unruly, yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, the queen didn't look like the costume was wearing her. No. She didn't look like she was wearing the costume.
And now the biggest offender for costumes is Turkey. Turkey is now the place where these things are coming from. And a good costume always has to have a badge.
A badge, yeah.
It's the badge.
So what's the anatomy of a costume? So for those who don't know.
For an outfit to qualify as a costume, it has to have a badge. Very ill-fitting badge. So if it's a size 14...
With the shoulders.
Sometimes it doesn't even have to have the shoulders. Okay. It has to be very long, the badge is up to the knees. Yeah. They come in colors like lilac, burgundy, this blue color, it's always the pastels with the costumes, and they always have to have a badge, and the skirt has to be not form-fitting and have a vent all the time. And then if you want to give your costume a bit of clout, give it a hat, and it's gone. It's gone. It's now trending.
There goes the costume.
There goes the costume. You rock up everywhere. People will remember you in your costume.
So funny.
Yeah, so I grew up, seeing women. Now the costume has found its place in the church, especially the Zimbabwean church. It's found a home in there, and you cannot tell them girlies anything. They'll wear a costume in winter, costume in summer, costume to church.
But can a costume not slay though?
Well, then it's no longer a costume.
Because Jackie Onassis...
Then it's no longer a costume.
If it slays, it's no longer a costume.
Yes. If it slays, it's now a power suit.
Because Jackie was she was a costume queen. Lizzie, costume queen.
They were not costumes, those were suits.
They were costumes.
They were power suits. I had to tell my costume. Costume means I know that. Costume, you cannot tell it anything.
It wears the wearer.
It wears the wearer. And costume has got this attitude that is Zimbabwean. That's a costume. No, because sometimes if you watch a costume...
It's giving like Mother of the Bride.
Yes.
Okay.
Mother of the Bride, but...
Bon Marché.
It's giving Bon Marché. There's another one I cannot pronounce. This is now costumes. I end up with private school.
What's that place in London?
Jacques Vert. Finsbury
Park.
That's the home of the costume. No, don't call it a costume. It's a costume.
Costume.
Yeah, it's a costume. So anyway, so most of my mates are now costume gang. I cannot do costume, guys.
Because you're just a girl.
I refuse to. I rebuke mwewe costume mishe. Kana wakundishanyira mwewe costume. Uroveni mweya mcheno. Tokadaroko. And take a costume.
Even
until I'm 80.
Now that I'm an auntie lights, like I'm a miniature auntie. I'm an auntie in training, right? I think to myself that I just don't identify with what you're supposed to be doing when you're somebody of my age. And I just think to myself, at what point do you start feeling like an adult? Because I don't feel like an adult.
I personally think, with this anti-light business, it's the environment you are in.
Yeah.
When you are part of a community where everybody's an auntie, it's inevitable. You have to follow suit. Because we live in the fringe of our community. We don't actually I don't hang with any aunties. I don't even know any aunties. I don't have friends who are aunties.
Same.
So I don't know how to behave like an auntie because I don't hang around them. But the day you start hanging around them, you will know exactly how to behave because they will tell you. They will tell you subliminally, they will tell you verbally, they will tell you indirectly. So, especially
yeah.
and things like that. So you actually have to be very strong willed not to be part of it. So I think the whole aesthetic comes with the community that you hang in.
Okay.
Take, for example, Real Housewives. Most of those women are in their 60s, some late 50s.
That is so true,
But
to be fair. They're all over 40.
Yeah, they're all over 40, but they never look like aunties or behave like aunties or dress like aunties.
Yeah.
So really and truly, I think it's about the people you spend time with, the community you are accustomed to, and your whole perception of you. So yeah, because I think the way I am, it would never wash if I lived in Zimbabwe, with going to church with most of these aunties. They would not let me behave this way. I would not even be wearing an off-the-shoulder dress. They would come
Off the shoulder.
They would come with a Zambia and cover my shoulders very quickly.
And what do you think about that?
I don't subscribe to it. That's why I don't have friends that my age, because I don't subscribe to all the things that they say. And the other thing is, I've always known this, but I didn't have the vocabulary to express this. From a very young age, I think from when I was your age, I've always known that I am who I am. And, when the YOLO came, I thought that was the vocabulary I needed to use to explain who I am, that I only live once and this is the only life I'm living. So I'm going to live it on my terms. And then I was thinking that's not exactly saying what it is. But then I've realized that what I've always wanted to say, and it was only put so eloquently by this guy I follow on TikTok, I've forgotten his name, was that we do not owe the human beings around us, we cannot reaffirm their thoughts or things or perceptions of us, right? So, have you ever heard somebody who says to you, I didn't know to know so. So that was me all the time. I was always like this, because I don't think I owe I cannot reaffirm or affirm your own, perceptions of me that you've made in your head. Iyo yaye kwako, right? That is the exact language in Zimbabwe. In Shona, iyo yaye kwako. Because at the end of the day, I am who I am, right? Your perceptions of me are your perceptions. I've got no duty or obligation whatsoever to either say, yes, that's the right thing, or no, that's the wrong thing. I don't have any of that. I don't owe you that. Neither do I owe anyone. That's why, maybe I get along with younger people. Because younger people are literally like, come as you are.
Yeah, they are.
Until they are hit by the anti-dom, and then they start thinking, because, we grew up in that community.
Because even old people were young once,
Yeah.
The aunties were actually like girls at one point.
Yeah, because mukadzi wemunhu adaro anofanira kuita sei? Izvozvo hazvinakana unhu. Zvine unhu ndo zvakaita sei? So I think we need to set our own rules, as long as we are not breaking the law, as long as we are not offending people, by the way, not offending people by living and breathing, because some people are easily offended. You just sneezing would offend somebody. I'm saying, there's offensive things that are genuinely
doing the most,
universally offensive. Let's refrain from those. But if living my life on my terms, deciding to wear one shoulder offends you, or me laughing the loudest, or me going out offends you, that's your problem. That's got nothing to do with me, because I do not owe you an explanation or an affirmation of something that you thought in your bedroom and say, on your own. I didn't even contribute to it. You saw a photo of me and thought, this woman is so quiet.
It's very demure, very mindful.
Then you see me, I'm very undemure. Very undemure and very unmindful.
Period.
That's that about that.
Yeah.
So it's Coco's 29th year on Earth. And what are my thoughts about it? So I requested this particular episode on this podcast because it's very important that I address this. You know why it is very important?
Hold on, Mom. Mom said, right, I was doing my timer like, so how long should we film this episode for? She goes, a little bit more than an hour because I have a few things I need to get off my chest. So I don't know if she's about to expose me, cook me, roast me. But she has a few things that she needs to get off her chest with the rest of the family members.
Right.
So this is a family
So
meeting.
it's a family meeting of us regular 1,000 people who rock up to this meeting religiously, and I'm
Yes.
very, very appreciative of you guys. You know, there's
There's
nothing.
1,000 people.
It's a
Like, if
lot
you
of people.
visualize it, you know, one thing I've been thinking about, like, is, you know, when you see numbers on social media, we've kind of desensitized ourselves to what those numbers actually look like.
Yeah.
So somebody will talk about, oh, my videos aren't performing well because they're getting 1,000 views.
Yeah.
But 1,000, imagine if 1,000 people came up to you.
Oh my goodness, you'll be dead. They'll trample you. You know, they'll
Or just
be,
a concept that 1,000 people know who you are.
exactly.
That's crazy.
Or know of who I am. Yeah, it's huge. So anyway, to the 1,000 people who rock up every week religiously, I am so. This is what a cult like following feels like. You know, having those 1,000 stands who actually come and watch us talk. And the other thing is, within my little small community of friends, family, some people have actually watched it and came and gave us feedback. And I'm very grateful for every one of you. And the ones who share are the real G's. Thank you so much for those who have shared, liked, and subscribed, because you're equally as important. Now, to the part of the video where Coco keeps on interrupting me because she doesn't know. The other thing is because she's a bit of a control freak like me, so she doesn't know what I'm going to say, and it's making her very nervous. But honestly, we have to talk about this. It's family here. So I was reflecting, you know, because the birthday has been, now as we do this video, it's a week after Coco's birthday. And, you know, I sat in my room and I was thinking, if I was to sum these 29 years of raising my daughter, what would I sum them to be? You know, in one word, if I was doing, you know, those weird lift interviews, those elevator interviews, and somebody would have said, sum up being a parent to your daughter in the last 29 years, and I would have said true survival. Those are the two words that kept on coming. And why? Because I even went on to sort of like be the deep thinker that I am sometimes, you know, split her life into like 3 equal parts: the first 10 years, the middle 10 years, and this current, you know, episode we are in. And everything has been true survival. And I am so, so grateful to have been, you know, on the front seat of every one of those segments of her life, and actually saying truly and attesting that truly I've been there. So, you know, if we're to look at her earlier years, you know, I met Coco's dad when I was a teenager. I'm one of those statistics, you know, those very negative statistics where, you know, 1 in every 4 teenagers, teenage pregnancy was a big thing during my time. And I cannot say, unfortunately, I fell into because I don't think it's unfortunate. Then it was unfortunate, because I remember when I told my dad and everybody that I was pregnant, they were so disappointed. And, you know, anything from, oh, you ruined your life, or what is going to become of you. And I remember one of my aunts, my dad's sister, saying to me, you know, the brothels are waiting for you, because that's where everyone who has a baby at your age lands. But one thing I can say is, you know, because I've always been a rebel. Remember, I've told you about this. My teenage pregnancy was my sticking it to my family, sticking it to the man, if you like. I lived a very difficult life up until my 17th year. My life was, I think at some point I was very depressed. It was very dark. It was a very dark episode until I met Coco's dad, who loved me in his very own unique way. And the way he loved me, I responded to. So I cannot say when I got pregnant at 17, it was a mistake, because it never was. Everything in my 17 years was planned. This is what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. I went into a family where I was loved. I went into a family where I was cared for. My mother-in-law absolutely rode for me. I did some of the weirdest and wonderful things any teenage Amrora would do. I drank with my father-in-law, which I don't think is even during that time was so frowned upon. I was left with him during Christmas time, and whilst I was giving him his castle, I was also drinking castle and things like that. And he was very shocked to see me after 3 hours, very drunker than he was. And when he came and told my mother-in-law about it, my mother-in-law was like, Musi, and then Coco came along. No blueprint, no instructions, no manual. I'm 17, there you go, you've got a baby, congratulations. My first experience was me almost drowning her, trying to give her a bath. And, she ate the soap, she almost drowned. She came out and she cried, and I said, praise the Lord, she hasn't died. We live to try it again another day. The following day, I drowned her again, almost by mistake. She slid from my hands and went deep down into the water for like a few seconds. Took her out, and I was like, this is the last time I'm ever going to try and give her a bath, because I am not succeeding at this. So it was a roller coaster when she was a baby. She survived that. She came out saying, you're not going to kill me with your 17 years. And throughout that time, she defined me in a way that nothing before she came ever was able to define me. I didn't see my space in many parts of my relationships. I didn't see my spaces as somebody's daughter. I didn't see my space as somebody's friend, somebody's relative. I didn't see all that until she came along, and she gave me the biggest title under the sun. And when people say, wakandikudza ukandita mama, they don't mean they don't understand what it means. She was one person I could safely call mine. And from that day on, moving forward, I knew that it was God's promise to me that I was never going to be on my own. So we rode together from when she was born up until now. The first 10 years was teaching her to walk, teaching her to talk, potty training her, scaring the bejesus out of her about PDF files. I would scare her that if she met any person, and she used to run away when she saw strangers. Stranger danger training with my daughter was really scary. If I was to do it now, I think probably I just told him that every man was after your Nunu, and she believed me, because that's what I knew, that's what I thought. But anyway, it was an amazing first 10 years. We came over to this country. She was learning about whatever she was learning, she was coming to teach me. So our roles became reversed when we came to the UK the first time around, because I didn't have friends, but she was going out there, she was making new friends. Coco has always been the one who leads with going into communities. She's always been the explorer. She goes out there, she does things that I would never think of doing. I remember when she was 7, she went on to the radio to do a quiz, and subsequently won it. And I was there listening and telling everybody in the care home that I worked at, that's my daughter, and went, yeah, at every answer. So she'd come back. She's made friends with people from the radio. Now I have to take her to those radio places. And that has always been our relationship. She's the explorer. She's the pioneer. She goes and finds these places, and she comes back, holds my hand, and says, look, this country is not as bad as you think, Mom. Not everybody's a racist. Not everybody's after abusing you. Some people are actually nice. So most of the relationships that are forged is because she survived it and then went into it to make the space more welcoming and more kinder for me to sort of like be ushered in. And we were talking of a child that was below the age of 10 at this point. She was meeting with big radio producers, and she was going, Mom, I'm going to the radio tomorrow. Do you want to come? And I'll be like, yes, sure. And I would come into these places, and people would tell me how amazing my daughter was. And I'll be like, I know, she's very amazing, Mfunge. That was the first 10 years of our life. Then we moved into the teenage years. And contrary to popular belief, Coco wasn't a difficult teenager. And I think bear in mind, we talked about the blueprint, about the instruction manuals and stuff like that, because I didn't have any. I had to play by the ear. I had to be her mom. And one thing I learned was that I had to be her mom. I didn't have to be a mother. I had to be a bespoke, specific mother to her for her specific needs as a daughter, right? So the other thing I learned in those years, I do not discuss how I raise my children with other people. If it works for my family, if it works for my daughter, if it works for my son, it's our own blueprint, it's our own instruction manual for this particular model. It's not for the next person, the next person, and the next person. Because you know what people do? When you share some things that are not necessarily what they would do, they become very judgy. And one thing I also learned was that every one of us do not know what we are doing. We are just carrying on and trying our best. Whether you're raising your child in a secular world without any religious input, whether you're raising your child in a very Christian-like without any secular input, when you're raising your child in a commune, we're all the same. We are blind. It's just the blind leading the blind. So what we need to do is to exercise grace on how I'm raising mine and how you're raising yours, and just say we're all in this together. Blind as hell, but trying. So during the teenage years, I didn't have the many problems that I saw many of my friends having. You know why? Because I learned that Coco was different. And I learned to trust her from the time she became 12. I knew that she was going to lie to me some points, but I knew that the lies were not because she was being horrible. The lies were to protect me. I knew the lies were to... She knows that this is our blueprint, this is our statement of purpose, this is our manifesto, but I want to bend it a bit, but I don't want to also upset you. So the lies were not in malice, they were sort of like to protect myself. And throughout those years, she met friends that she still has for now. Shout out to Lois. I met Coco's new friends. Some of them I became mothers to. Some of them I understood. Some of them actually came and slept on my sofa. And you know what? That pioneer should bring some of these people back home and say, Mom, can you just, house this one for a few weeks, for a few months? And some stayed with us for a few years because she's kind, because she goes out there in the world and she goes, you know what? My home is warm. My mother is warm. Let me take you back. So that's her. That's her. Wherever she finds people that are struggling, she brings them back. And we try and figure it as we go along. And that has always been her teenage years. That has always been what she did. And throughout those, that hand-holding, that finding opportunities, they're no longer just extended to me as her mom. She extended it to other teenagers her age. If she found something that she thought was of benefit to other teenagers, of benefit to her friends, of benefit to people she didn't even know. I know somebody who does exactly what you do. Let me get you to link to each other. During those years, moving on into a bit of her early 20s, she did something called Zim Young Achievers. There were a group of teenagers, people I'd never met. I met great big names. That's when I met Baba Harare. It was through her own initiative of trying to showcase that as Zimbabweans we can survive. So you see the survival is seeping through. We can make this our home. We can showcase what we are as human beings, as a community. We don't have to live under the shadows. And along then she'd make me, Mom, you're going to be the creative director for this. Mom, you're going to be the driver for this. And I got to, as I was raising her, I also got to know myself as a person. I got to be assertive for her. Because the other thing about Coco is she focuses on the bigger picture. The smaller things, she doesn't, look at, she doesn't sweat the small stuff. I sweat the small stuff. So while she's looking at the bigger picture, I'll be like, but we've forgotten this. But have you thought of this? But have you thought of that? And that symbiosis between our parent-daughter relationship. Some people do not like it. And again, it's not for everyone, but it made us survive the teenage years. We didn't clash that much. The things we clashed about were not wanting to go to school. Coco did not love school. She hated it. And I understand why, because the kind of person she is would not function in those structured 9 to 3, go to this next lesson, go to that next lesson kind of situation. But in the community we live, you have to go to school, unfortunately. So she had to go to school and she hated it. But, she struggled through it. Not that she was a dofo, she just could not focus on the whole idea of how structured it was. Because the other thing, if you don't know Coco, is that she's those creatives through and through. And creatives like to flow. Creatives like to be there. They like to be there. And getting to know those things about her made us understand each other. And we, like any other relationship, yes, tembo marana chaizo, but should understand. The other thing about her, she's also a peacemaker. Should understand that, this is not mom just being mean. She understood, as I understood when she was bending our manifesto, she understood when I was screaming at times, because I did. It was because it was all out of love. It's because there's a wire that cross-wired there. And she'll be the first person to come and say, Mom, can we talk about this? So we learned to have conversations in those years. Even things were difficult, we still managed to have difficult conversations. And I think keeping the communication pipeline open, it doesn't matter how difficult some of the things that you're being told are, but if you keep it open, I can promise you it only gets better. We passed the teenage years, then we got into where we are now. We started this with a bang. Coco went to Ukraine and came back being rushed by the Russians, guys.
Rushed by the Russians.
She was being rushed by the Russians. Again, the survivor in her. I remember because when I know exactly where I was when this happened. I was in my bedroom and I opened the internet, as everybody does, because I'd had a conversation with her before, and she was like, Mom, I don't think, this, I think these are just rumors, because something you say in passing, because Coco and I would speak a lot when she was in Ukraine. We'd even spend the whole day together on the phone, just talking, or on video call or whatever. So that day we sort of like spoke, and I said to her, there's this news going around that Russia wants to attack Ukraine. Are you aware of it? And she goes, oh, Mom, don't worry about it. I don't think anything is going to come of it. So anyway, I woke up to, like the rest of the world, I woke up and I remember exactly what time it was. It was at 5 in the morning. I went onto my social media and then I heard that Russia had attacked Ukraine. So when Coco went to Ukraine, she left me with her daughter. So 5:30 in the morning, we had an alarm, and the alarm was one of Japreza's songs with what's her name? What's his name?
Zim Praise.
Zim Praise.
Yeah.
That one that goes to Komboreros, Ramaka, Tipa. So that song used to come up as our alarm at 5:30 in the morning. So the song means the blessings that you've given to us, we cannot begin to. So it's a praise and a thankful song. So it starts, then Coco's daughter rises up. So she used to sit up every morning. I remember this, and she would clap to this song. So she's clapping to this song. I'm scrolling through my social media. I'm seeing that Ukraine has been attacked. And my daughter is still in Ukraine. And the daughter is sat there clapping, not knowing what has happened in the world, and not realizing how our lives were never going to be the same. And I'm thinking, what am I going to tell her? If Mom doesn't make it home and she's clapping and thankful, being very thankful that she's waking up at 5:30 with her nanny, what am I going to tell her? And I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. So I woke up. I called my ex-husband and I said, I do not know what to do with this. And I've tried to reach Coco this morning. I cannot reach her. And I'm besides myself. And I do not like being this helpless. I can't fly to Ukraine. I can't do anything. What do I do? So I think I went into a monologue and I cried and I blamed him, as I do. I blame everybody for everything. I blamed him for, not having the foresight of letting our daughter go to Ukraine, and him being the person he is and understanding me the way he does. He didn't say anything. He just took all the blame, and he apologized, and he kept on apologizing. And he was like, I'll do the best I can in this difficult situation. So I remember that particular day I had a presentation which I couldn't miss at uni. So I woke up still, just trying to function as the best as I can. I think the rest of the world were waking up to this, and my close family were aware that Coco was in Ukraine. So at my ex-husband's advice, he told me not to take any calls, so I didn't. So people were calling me. I got calls from back home, calls from my mother-in-law, my sisters-in-law, my own family. Everybody was concerned and they wanted to know, but because I didn't know myself, there was nothing for me to tell anyone. So I dropped Jojo at nursery as I normally would. So I tried to carry on with my day the best way I can. I go to campus, guys, and you know when you woke up and now we're into 6 hours of no communication. I don't know where my daughter is. I don't know what's going on, and I'm trying the best I can to be normal as I can for the kids. So I get into one of the cafes on campus. So this I'm looking for a room. I was looking for a room with a computer adapter or something for me to plug my computer and for me to download. I don't know what I wanted to do, and I couldn't find a room, and I'm getting very frustrated. So I ended up at the highest part of the building. That was like this last. I don't know why it was that busy on campus that day. So I ended up this is the last room I'd been trying to find a space for me to just switch this computer on. And that room was full as well. So there was this PhD student who was sat here, and I remember this as clear as day. He said to me, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to unplug. I finished what I'm doing. You can come and sit here." And that tiny act of kindness opened floodgates. I started crying. I cried so much, and I was like, this all doesn't matter. It's not important. He was a bit confused. He's saying, I've just given you a space. No, he didn't say that, but you could tell that it's like, what did I do to you? Boy, it is sure. I was like, this all doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. I started crying, and I cried for such a long time. And he sat there next to me. And I was like, was it something I did? And because he said that, I cried some more. And he was like, do you want me to call anyone? So at this point, I'm creating a bit of a scene. And, one of the lecturers, I think, came in and took me into his office at this point. And then he was like, do we need to call anyone? So I gave him my phone, managed to unlock my phone. And I called a few of my very close friends. And all I did was I was just wailing. I was just, Tammy just said to me, I'm coming, where are you? And this lecturer said to Tammy, she's at the campus, and she was like, I'm coming, I'm on my way. I'm crying. And I was just thinking of all the years I'd lived with her, the time sometimes we'd wake up and I would force her to do things. I was like, so why was she going to school? Only to die in Ukraine. At this point, she was dead in my head because I hadn't spoken to her. She wasn't alive. And I remember saying to Tafadzwa, one of my very close friends, I was like, Tafadzwa, I've lost my daughter. I don't have anyone, and I don't know how to do this life without anyone. I've got no one. And because the conversations just started from, I've lost her, I've got no one. She was a bit confused and she didn't know what to say. And obviously, she's another one who's very active. What do we do? So she's in journalism. So she started speaking to the BBC, and she got the BBC. And at this point, my personal tutor came now all the way up, very flustered because he didn't know what was happening. And he just came in. And, I don't do very well with touch. Touch doesn't do it for me. So if I'm upset, I do not like people to hug me. So at this point, I'd been molested by a few people. Were thinking that they were being very good for me, but it doesn't work. This man stood in front of me and said to me, "What do you pray to?" And I stopped crying. And I said, I pray to goodness. I pray to all the things that we've done for other people's children. I pray for everything that I've done and sowed in the world to bring my daughter back. And at this point, I'd lost it. Tamale came and she sat with me. My personal tutor sat with me. All these other white people, I don't know, it was just a room full of white people. And they all were sort of like saying, communication has gone quiet in Ukraine, but you will be fine. And I was like, you know what? Me being me, even in that time of my anguish and strife, I said, you know what? Even if Putin wanted me as a sex slave today, I'd go to Russia and be a sex slave for my daughter to come home. And again, everybody started laughing, but they were laughing nervously because they didn't know whether I was being funny but I meant it. I was willing to do that. Anyway, at this point, I get home. Tammy has literally moved in because I was not doing very well. helped me pick the kids up, and and then you know when you go home, and so anyway, I get home. The BBC now get in touch with me, and they're like, "Oh, we've managed to locate your daughter. We are coming to your house to do an interview, a snippet with you for this episode." So they came, but good things happen. The goodness I prayed to brought my daughter home. And I remember when I got to, so at this point now, all my friends, everybody I'm close to, they all had sort of like congregated, and they were doing a vigil with me, and we're doing a day-to-day update. And at this point, Coco and Coco's fiance were traveling, and you know something I love about this country, when it comes to crisis and everything is in place, you get all the support you needed. So my MP ringing me with news, the embassy in all the countries Coco was coming through. Again, the survival in my daughter. So instead of just taking this as an L and just, fighting to come home and saying, you know what, I'm just going to do it for myself, she started, fundraising for other African kids who were stuck, other, African people who were trying to travel, trying to get out of these war zones, raising awareness while she was traveling, So I started getting, all these fantastic messages from people I would hardly speak to. I was now speaking to Kenyan ambassadors in the United Nations. I was getting all these African countries, people calling me to say, you've got such an amazing daughter. And, that gave me so much strength just to wait for her. So what am I trying to say, giving you all these snippets of all my journey with Coco? Coco has been my teacher as much as I've been her parent. She's taught me to love. She's taught me to be resilient. She's taught me that, sometimes you have to turn your L into a 7. I don't know if it means anything. But she's taught me a lot of amazing things, and she's given to me as much as I've given to her. And celebrating her 29 years of life has shown me that we don't need to live our lives by anyone's expectations, but by the internal mandate that we were sent into the world with, by the internal instructions that probably we never get an opportunity to ever decipher. So I'm very, very happy that she understood her own internal, blue chip, her own internal, network, software that allowed her to be the person that she is. In the 29 years, I don't think I've ever thought, or I've ever thought, oh my goodness me, parenting is very hard. It's been a journey. We've had, to duck and dive. We've had, challenges like any other family. Society is not very kind to children that come from single parent households, let alone if your mom is as loud as I am. It can be very difficult. But I've never felt like Coco was ashamed to be my daughter, as I was never ashamed to be her mom. We've gone through times when people have, questioned my ability to parent her because she's been, she's decided to start a lingerie business and be one of the biggest models for it. But I was the buyer, guys. I was the one who was buying those, that lingerie. We did that together. So there were so many things that people questioned me. But if I look back, I'm glad we did it that way. I'm glad we lived our lives the way we did. I'm glad I did not look for parenting advice from people who were trying to figure it themselves. So I say this to say that whatever works for you as a family, whatever works for you as a union, whatever works for you, you don't have to explain how you're raising your own children unless you're raising them to be criminals, because then you have to answer to the justice system. If you are raising your children to be decent human beings who appreciate others, who help others, and you're doing it the best way you can, please don't let the world judge you or the world tell you, because we are all just fumbling along and just hoping for the best. So for the 29 years, you've let me get it so wrong sometimes. Guys, I've got it so wrong. Sometimes I actually am embarrassed that why are we still sitting on the same? And sometimes I've got it so well And sometimes, we've had to throw hands. Sometimes we've had to, defend our honor. But everything that we did, I'm glad I spent the last 29 years with you. And may whoever is raising daughters out there, you are amazing human beings. Girls can be cows, innit?
The girl is going to be cows.
Yeah, but that's all I had to say for this 29th birthday edition. We'll be back for the 30th. Please put a pin on this one. When she starts lying about her age, come to this video and start counting from the year. If you see her like 7 years later and she's telling you she's 27, she'll be like, wait, 27, are you aging backwards? Because in the year of our good Lord 2024, in October, your mom told us that you were 29, so how can you be 27? Please come and call her out. But thank you, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this. I know it's been emotional in some parts, but it's something that I thought I had to share with you guys. 29 years of raising somebody, ai signore. Veduwe kurera sandignore. Auwe kurera sandignore. So, yeah.
Wow, that was
Thank you for being my guinea pig.
You've not done bad, to be fair. I don't think you did bad. I think I'm alright.
Yeah.
That was like so emotional. I wasn't expecting that. Like, you're a really good storyteller. So when you tell a story, you take the person through down memory lane and just like reflecting on the past 29 years. Like, I feel very fortunate. Someone was like to me in the comments on TikTok that when I do my prayers, I should make sure that I do a special prayer for you because, our closeness, our relationship, the fact that,
Before you put on your makeup.
Can I tell my story?
Please say a little prayer for me. Okay, sorry.
You see how I listen to your story? Very demure, very mindful. You see how I'm telling my story? You should also listen to it and be very demure, very mindful.
Okay.
Yeah, they said I should make sure that I do a special prayer for you. And I do. I thank God, like what you said before about I had to be a parent to you. Like the fact that you realized I needed a special...
Special circumstances.
Special circumstances. Oh my gosh, at least you understood my special needs, and I really appreciate that. Like, more recently, I wake up every day just thinking to myself, wow, feeling an ample level of gratitude that, to be able to live the life I've lived in Forrest Gump, in real life. You guys have ever watched Forrest Gump? I'm Forrest Gump. I've lived about 30 lives, but I've had my mom she's not judgmental. She's not a hater, innit? She just lets me get on with it. And not only does she let me get on with it, she's very supportive of my sometimes very questionable. She's a very good teammate.
The questions I ask when Coco comes up with an idea is it legal?
Because I have a lot of ideas.
Are we not going to land in jail? Because I don't want to go to HMP Leicester or HMP Gatry or whatever.
No, it's not giving. But yeah, you've been a bespoke teammate, one that I know that if I didn't have, my life wouldn't have been as fulfilling. It wouldn't even be really, worth living, to be fair, if I didn't have you, babes. So, love you so much, Pookie.
I love you too. And you know what? I personally think also, you're saying that it's a two-way thing. Because if I hadn't been your mom, I probably would have taken a life on the game, innit? And maybe
always says this, she says that if she wasn't, my mom should be a draggy. But I don't see her as a draggy. I don't really get draggy from you.
I probably would.
She's not a drinker like that.
I don't drink, I don't smoke,
dabble in recreational
I don't
anything.
But I'm saying to you, being your mom is giving me the grounding that I require. Because some of the things, even when I'm out there and I'm doing things, I'll be like, oh, I'm somebody's mom. Because if I wasn't somebody's mom, I'm telling you, I'm a bit of a rebel. I would be a flower child of some sort, living in a commune. I don't know what I'll be doing, but I'm glad that I became a mom at the age I became. And I'm glad for everyone who's seen us, throw, the positive one. They're not looking of the haters. There's nothing
the
to thank.
ops.
Or the ops is nothing to thank. So don't try and take a bit of this thank you because it's not aimed at you. I'm talking about the positive influences because I have not done this solely by myself as much as I always say I'm a single parent. I've had people who've come in my life and who've actually been a constant and a persistent constant, like Tammy, I'm always talking about her. And, other people like, Gwen, people who've been very good to me. I talk about people who've been good to me and people who've allowed me to raise my kids at my own terms. They've never questioned what I do with my children, but just loved them through me. They've loved my children. They've loved me through my children is what I'm trying to say. They know how I care about them and they care for them the most. And the friends she's made along the way, she's made some amazing friends. She's made some amazing connections. In some places, once I speak her name, they let me in. I remember I once had a birthday, which was hosted by Dexter, because Dexter knew Coco. And she was like, if Mom, you're coming, you're going to have a table. I had one of the biggest, amazing birthdays ever. I've gone to places in Zim where they know her, not me, and they've been like, oh, Coco's mom is coming. So I am so grateful. So it's been a two-way journey, two-pronged. Mommy and Coco for life.
Gang.
We
need to do a little handshake. Do you want to teach a handshake, Mom?
Oh, please don't teach me.
Teach a handshake. Okay, so 1, 2. Yeah?
Okay,
Get it? 1, 2, 3.
No, let's keep it simple.
No, it's not difficult. Look, 1, 2, Go like this.
No, oh God, now I think we're doing too much.
No, you've got it. Look, 1, 2, I like that. Okay, last time. You got it.
No, I will raise
Save. Have you got it? Last time. So, but for a family, if you're watching, I hope you got the secret handshake. Because when I see you, lot, it needs to be pa, 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 pa.
And thank you, Bonfofo family. You know, especially these TikTokers, man. I love them TikTokers. If it was up to me, they're not bad vibes. If it was up to me, I would want to meet each and every one of you in person. And just have a little natter. And I don't know how I can facilitate this, but I really, really genuinely from the bottom of my heart, because you guys are riders. And thank you. And most of these people are actually coming from TikTok. And you help me hate the people I hate with you. And we do this together in love, in peace, in harmony. And I'm so grateful for you. You're an amazing community, and I'm glad to be part of it. And thank you so much.
You know what I want to say? Like, throughout my journey, I've had moments that I felt so misunderstood, as if the way I come across isn't the way I actually am. But I've seen people who've had similar instances, and then they'll just end up disappearing off the internet, or they just decide, you know what, social media isn't for me. But having you constantly reinforcing my sense of self, you know me, isn't it? You know the person I am. Bless me. You know the person I am and the way I am and what I believe in and my values and everything. You give me so much confidence that I know, I've got, I always say to you, I have an elevated sense of self. And sometimes I'm so bold in my actions, but it's because of the foundation that I've had.
Yeah.
And I just wish that for everybody,
And I think Delulu is always the solution. We should put so much Delulu into our children, because the world out there is very, very harsh, guys. And when you start now nitpicking on your own child, don't worry, society will do it for you.
They'll do it.
Society will do it for you. So the only place children should be comfortable to come back is home. So when, after a long day of fighting on the internet, Coco will come back and I'll massage her shoulders, and I'm like, champ, that one, that retweet, that clap back, you were on game, you ate on that one. I would, however, add a few more, sassy remarks into the next one.
Mom always tells me to be sassier.
Yeah, because and the other thing is because that Coco is very nice. I'm very assertive and very boundaried. She knows me. I don't take nonsense. As much as I like people to a certain extent. So you just can't get away with crap with me because I'm not like that. That's where we are different here. And she is very kind, whereas where she sees black, I see white. Where she sees white, I see black. In terms of people, I don't start from a place of trusting with people. I start from a place of doubting everybody, and then I'll go, yeah, actually, they're very nice people. Whereas with her, when I'm on my rant about somebody, she'll be like, Mom, don't you think if this happened? She tries to explain and see the good in people, which is very good. It's actually a lovely trait in her, which I don't particularly possess, but. I do have a genuine care for people, a genuine love for people, but very boundaried as well and very, cautious. She dives in. That's why I'm always saying she's the one who goes and does the pioneering, surveys the land, sees what it is like, then I'll come in with her. So if somebody's got Coco's stamp of approval, she has mine or he has mine, I will trust them based on her evaluation.
Mom sees things that I don't
when
see.
I see some of the people, I'll be like, this one is... And Coco will be like, Mom, just give them a chance. I've never been one to say I told you so because I don't think it helps anyone in any shape or form. The world has already battered them, so it doesn't help me trying to come and get my I told you so. But we need to love our children. The Lulu is the Solulu. As part of your parenting trick, they come to you with a wonky spaghetti necklace. You never know, they might be next Swarovski. So, go, this is amazing, this is fantastic, because that's what we're supposed to do as parents. Be our first line cheerleaders, first line of support. I've been there to every eyelash library opening, whatever it is that Coco has done, I will be there screaming. I was there doing Vosho with 19-year-olds when she did Zimbabwe Young Achievers. I was at airports transporting artists and whatever, because that's what I do as her mom. And, I've hung around, some drill rappers because she wanted to do a show with drill rappers. I've sat with them whilst they're smoking and even hidden their...
You did what?
Yeah, I didn't. I hid their zoots. That's what they call them, isn't it? Under my boobies. Yeah, I did. Because they couldn't come into places with them, so I hid them under my boobies. I've done things that looking back, I wouldn't necessarily do for anybody who's not my daughter. So I'm glad, and the experiences were fun as well. And looking back, I wasn't sort of like sacrificing anything. I was actually enjoying myself along the way. I was outside. I was being my body to my client, you see. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's been fantastic. And I wish for our journey. And honestly, our life is not a real. This is us. Our life is not a snapshot. When people, no one in the world who knows us would say, oh, they're only doing it for the internet. They actually hate each other. We actually genuinely love each other.
This is where I go.
This is us. And these conversations we are having, we'll have them off camera. And
that's why I thought this podcast would be such a good idea, because me and Mom, I always wonder what it looks like to the outside world, because I've never seen this kind of dynamic. We'll spend the whole day unpacking the world. We can sit there having really deep conversation, but I've never seen that before.
And you know what?
And we can do it every day.
Every day. And we can unpack the world.
And I look forward to it. I look forward to waking up. Yo, Mom.
Or sometimes, recently I went to an event. Some of my industry colleagues, who actually have become like my family, invited me. They're Zambian. And I went. And when I came back, I literally couldn't wait to tell her how it all went. And
this guy didn't want to go to the motive, imagine. She was because obviously I'm a teen mum in it. I know I'm 29, but I'm a teen mum. So I don't have any childcare to be outside with my homegirl here, who's not a teen mum, who decided not to have children.
No. Absolutely. Stay
enjoy her life and stay in school. So I couldn't go to the motive, and she didn't want to go. And I was like, Mom, you need to go. She was saying I was lecturing her, but I was empowering her. Yeah,
because bear in mind also, like I've told you, that the people I hang around with are very, very young people. So normally I want to go under the guys that I'm escorting her. So now when I rock up by myself, I'm just thinking, but you see, I got there, right? And I could not wait when I came back. I literally rang her. Because sometimes we FaceTime when she's in a bedroom, in my bedroom, in the same house, we'll FaceTime. So I was like, bruh, you don't even want to know what happened yesterday. And she was like, wow. And I could tell she was still sleeping. And I said, oh, anyway, good night. I said, good night. I said, oh, no, you can't sleep. Tell me what. Please come to my room. I need to tell you. That is us. And I do not take this lightly, because there are some people's relationships with their children, with their family, that is not as good. I pray for you guys. I pray that whatever mistakes that whoever you are not relating with made, you don't make it with your own. So, this is not to gloat or to say we've figured it all out, because we haven't. We are still on this journey, and sometimes, so many sacrifices have happened for actually, because God maybe realized that I was never going to have a guy I liked, so he decided to give me my child who I can have this conversation. So can you imagine?
We're gonna find your boyfriend, Mom.
No, I don't want
me and my Bondforever siblings.
No, I don't want a boyfriend.
I've had a few of my Bondforever siblings say that they want us to be one family. They have. This is maybe for another podcast why I'm single. I'm not single because I do not find men, guys. No, Mom draws.
I'm not single. Don't get this wrong.
Don't get it twisted.
I don't.
Baby.
But the thing is, there are certain things I'm looking for, and also I'm very cutthroat. And Coco is always saying to me, Mom,
Mom's a bit. I feel like she can be a bit abrasive at times with her.
No, I'm absolutely
lovers.
not abrasive. Abrasive is mean.
I don't want to say aggressive. I don't want to say aggressive.
So between the two verbs to describe
aggressive is worse than abrasive.
So you came through of the two things that you can say about me. You can think abrasive or aggressive.
If I say aggressive, you call me a racist.
Yeah, because you are. And not calling me abrasive
is the wrong word.
Abrasive is judging.
No, not abrasive. No, that is. I mean, you can be a bit rough around the edges, like. What do you call it? Congruted. What do you call it? Congruted can. Rough.
You're calling me a scourer.
What's the word then?
I just think
I feel like harsh is not the right word.
I'm not harsh. I think
you're not mean.
I'm not mean either. I'm actually very.
You're
lovely.
not aggressive either.
I'm not
She's
aggressive.
a very lovely girl, but she can be a bit.
No, I don't subscribe to stupidity. Is what you're trying to say.
She's a sharpshooter.
Okay,
what word would call a sharpshooter? She's a sharpshooter.
So the thing is, also the other thing is, I don't understand. Yeah, true. And also, I don't like games. That's the other thing. If we are, this whole, I'll wait until you text me or you text me, then I wait 10 minutes before I answer rubbish. I don't do all those things. And I find that I just want something that is very straightforward. And I want something that allows a relationship that is wide enough to embrace me with all that I bring, because I bring a lot of my sons, you guys. I've got kids, I've got things that I want to do, and you just and I'm so used to living by myself that I just find it sometimes very difficult to incorporate somebody else into my life, because I think my life is fine the way it is.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I think that makes for a good partner, somebody who already feels fulfilled in what they have, that like it's just extra. You know what I mean? Rather than being somebody something. When you're somebody something, that's a recipe for disaster.
And the other thing is, I do not like being love bombed. So when it raises such red flags, why are you wanting to kidnap me? Why are you wanting me to close my eyes to seeing you as the person you are? And I'm attracted to a certain kind of person. And I'm yet to meet that person. It's a certain type. And when I see that certain type, I go, yeah, that's him.
And also, it's good that you didn't say what the person's like, because the girlies on the internet, like the relationship guys, they said that you shouldn't tell people like what you...
right? That's where the manipulation comes from.
Thank you, girl. They know. They'll be watching you. Then they'll write the little notes like, oh yeah, I want somebody who's like, she wants this.
Manipulator 101.
Then they model themselves around what you said that you want.
That's why I said a certain type, because I will never tell you. And you know what? The other thing is, which I will say to the younger girlies out there, be serial daters. It's not cheating. And if you don't have a ring on your finger, date as many people as you can. And also, don't be in the habit of telling people what you're looking for, because when they don't do it on the first date, they'll do it the second time around. down, because that's what manipulation is.
Don't give them the
about.
play.
Don't give them the playbook. Wait for them to open their mouths and just start being rubbish, and you just go no.
No.
And so don't be somebody's wife who's also ring. Don't do that. That's a bit weird.
I completely agree with you, babes.
So because I know that some of my internet babas are be doing that, and babas don't do that. Do not do that, because those are not your. That's not the right way you want to do things. Have anything else you want to say?
No, I was trying to make sure, trying to figure out if our timer had gone, but I don't think I ever started.
She never started it.
So I don't know how long
this episode is going to be like. But
should anyway, I check?
Well, you don't have to check, because we are now just about to sign off. Do you have anything to say?
No, let me just double check in case it's not like 30 minutes.
Okay.
And we've got like 20 minutes to go.
Okay. So the dress Coco is wearing today, I made it. If anyone asked.
Yeah, it's only 38 minutes.
Only 38 minutes. So we've just been talking for 38 minutes. No.
38 minutes.
No, the time has gone, my friend. You had done the timer. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah. She was she was never good with her maths.
Okay. So.
We've started a tradition, isn't it, of leaving them with a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we go, what is daughter's mom's comment in the comment section? What's the most interesting or challenging thing that you've found raising or being raised by your parent? Or, so mothers, what was the challenging thing? Daughters or sons, what was the challenging thing? I just want to see what has been out there.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us on episode 10 of Mum Can You Not. It was quite an emotional episode. I wasn't expecting for you to make me cry. Is that what you dragged me out my house for, babe?
I wasn't experiencing it. I wasn't experiencing
You're experiencing it. But thank you for joining us at another hour of
Mum Can You Not.
Mum Can You Not. And we really appreciate you guys for joining this journey with us. And we can't wait for you to join us on episode 11. See you next time.
And you know what? You always forget this. Don't forget to comment, like, and share, like the true YouTubers.
But these are baddies. They just do what they want, innit? They share, comment, and subscribe without even the prompt.
I know,
they roll deep.
They are rolling deep, and you know what? I like the way you slide for us. Sharak for life. I'll tell you something. I'm going to do a whole episode on 20 things that you don't know about me that are very fascinating and interesting. You'll find some of the things that I do, guys, are so weird. But stay tuned.
Period. Lincoln.